Well, welcome to another Acoustic Alternatives podcast being done from Grove Studios in Ypsilanti, a very cool rentable space that my guest has checked out online. She's already impressed and might have to come and take advantage of the student discount we just heard. My guest on Acoustic Alternatives this week is my friend Alison Albrecht. Welcome back, Alison.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
It is so good to see you, my friend. It's been about a year.
It's been about a year. Yeah, we were just saying that. We saw that a year ago was when I last came into studio.
It's a radio thing, and we're not doing the radio thing anymore, but we do have this excellent location. If you are a podcaster and you're looking for a place to rent to do your podcast, I highly recommend Grove Studios. If you're a musician,
absolutely. There's
some really interesting spaces to rent, different sizes, deluxe room. If you can read all about it, check out the Grove Studios webpage and get involved if you're looking for space. It is a really cool. I'm going to show Alison when we can. One of the rooms was occupied when we got here, but I want to show her the deluxe studio a little bit later on. But what kind of review? I mean, if people have heard me interview you in the past, this will be a review for them. But it's pretty rare for me to say that somebody caught my attention by singing the national anthem.
Yes.
And I know I've said that every time, but it's not that common for me to write down the name of the person singing the national anthem and go, boy, I really should look into this. And watching a Tiger game when she was just 15.
Yeah.
I got to see her perform and stole the name off the scoreboard and reached out and said, hey, do you have a CD? And Alison said, yes, I do. Sent me the CD.
Yep.
It was really good. Very impressed. Started playing some of the songs on the radio. Hey, you want to come on my show sometime? Sure. And I find out while I'm doing my research, or maybe even during the interview, that you're in 10th grade. Oh my God. You're in 10th grade and you've got your first CD out and you come, like, come on, seriously? So I'm just, you're a superhuman being, and I'm glad that we connected back then. And I'm loving to watch as your career develops and the songs develop, and everything is coming along very nicely.
Well, and I've just been so grateful for just like all your support, even continued across the years. It's just been so wonderful. So
if I believe in somebody, they know. And I hope that you know I believe in you.
yes, absolutely.
Let's give people an example of why I believe in you. It's your songwriting and your singing.
Yes.
Both. What would you like to start with?
I'm going to start with the latest single that I just released over the summer.
Cool.
And it's called Right Thing, Wrong Time.
And the right thing to do now while you're singing is remove the mask.
Yes.
Here's Alison Albrecht
yes.
on Acoustic Alternatives.
Don't overthink it, but there's madness in my mind. It's the right kind of thing at the wrong time. Don't overthink it, let it happen undefined. It's the right kind of thing at the wrong time. We linger in the starlight, but we should be faster asleep. No rules to play by, no promises to keep. I bite my lip and feel the air brush my skin. It's warm in July, let the heat begin. Black dress, black sky, my eyes meet your eyes. My heart beats out of my chest. So don't overthink it, but there's madness in my mind. It's the right kind of thing at the wrong time. So don't overthink it, let it happen undefined. It's the right kind of thing at the wrong time. Right thing at the wrong time. Four walls knocked down, can finally feel the wind. I ride it for a little bit, goes nowhere that I've been. You whisper secrets, brush hair from my face. We'd be locked down, but we're stuck here in this place. Oh, dark air, dark mind. Not now, I know why. Let's just soak up this space. So don't overthink it, but there's madness in my mind. It's the right kind of thing at the wrong time. So don't overthink it, let it happen undefined. It's the right kind of thing at the wrong time. blow. This could erupt any second, but you're always on my mind. You're the right kind of thing at the wrong time. Though I should learn my lesson, this is nothing like a crime. You're the right kind of thing at the wrong time.
Man, is that good? That's so good. Yeah. Alison Albrecht on Acoustic Alternatives, Right Thing, Wrong Time, latest single from last summer. And the mask off made that such a powerful blue. You're blowing me out of here, which is great. Love it. Before we back up and talk about your past, let's talk about that song a little bit. What inspired that particular? Can you talk about it if it's not too emotional? Because I mean, I can make my own conclusions about what the song might be about. But
I actually wrote it right kind of after quarantine had started, and I was actually taking a production class online through Berkeley. I found myself with a summer that I had kind of I had a job. I was going to go abroad. I was kind of, I don't know, just like everyone, we all had
plans,
and they and obviously everything got turned upside down. But I was so fortunate that I was able to take that production class, and it was music production fundamentals for songwriters. And I thought that song, I loved kind of the upbeat energy of it, thought it could be produced in a really fun way. And I just kind of wrote it about this, this phase of my life being in college and navigating different relationships. And
it could just as easily be about finding the right person, but at the wrong time. Like you found the right person, but you're already engaged. It's otherwise engaged with somebody else. And ooh, yikes. So
and that's one thing I love about
music
is it's everyone I think has a different kind of take on it. So for sure. That's the song.
Another way to look at it. Well, there we go. That's the latest single from Alison. Let's take a little journey backwards, though.
Yes.
From the young music fan that you were to picking up guitar. Tell me about young Alison discovering a love of music and a guitar.
I think I've just always loved music. I don't know why, but I think I've just always had this sort of fire in me to pursue it. I got my first guitar when I was in 3rd grade for my 9th birthday. And actually my 21st birthday is in 3 weeks. So that was, I think, 12 years ago. I got my first guitar and played every open mic in the area. My parents drove me to Caribou Coffee every single week so that I could sing Taylor Swift covers for the other Caribou Coffee patrons. I performed at Broughton Music Center a lot in Northville and just performed pretty much everywhere I could and loved. And I tried to write, when I was young, but really started writing music around 11 or 12. And
everybody does, don't they?
Yeah, well,
no, they don't.
I begged my parents to take me to Nashville, and we went on Thanksgiving break, and I performed at the Bluebird and the Commodore, and saw that scene of writers' rounds, and I was convinced that that was what I wanted to do. So we did a couple more Nashville trips after that. And that's kind of when I started to realize I wanted to be more plugged in the Metro Detroit niche. Cause I had, booked a couple gigs. I was in 6th or 7th grade. And I was just starting to book gigs in our area. And I was like, before I want to, before you can tap in anywhere else, I really wanted to invest in being a performer in Metro Detroit. So I started booking more gigs, more festivals, and have been doing that ever since. So that's kind of how I started. Was I loved those writers' rounds, and I really hooked on to people sharing stories. And I think that's, if you've ever been to a writers' round type of setting, that's the big takeaway. So yeah.
I'm trying to imagine what 11-year-old Alison was writing about. I mean, I was writing poems that were songs in my head. I don't play music, but I was writing stuff at probably 13 just to get my emotions out and to deal with,
well, it's such a wonderful outlet. Yeah.
It is.
I was writing about a lot of friendship dynamics and a lot about just kind of a lot of the songs I don't play anymore or even remember there's videos, but just a lot about friendships and kind of coming of age type of stuff. So, yeah.
Be interesting to hear some of those sometime. Not in this forum, maybe another day when you and I are just hanging out with your guitar.
Absolutely.
If that ever happens. So you progressed nicely. You got to write more songs. If that's one of your newest songs, you've written some since then. I know that, but I can hear the maturity in your writing in that song. It sounds, really, it sounds radio ready to me, quite honestly.
Thank you.
It has a quality that matches people that are already like. I don't know if Lord is an influence at all, but there's something. There's
absolutely.
a little bit of her in that one. I can hear something. But anyway, what would you say? I'm going to say that I can guess what the turning point for your career kind of starting to go in an upward direction was. But would you say it was the 2014 State Fair Superstar Contest? Would that be a major turning point, or was there something before that?
No, I would say that was a big turning point. Up until that point, I was booking gigs. I was playing. I was just starting to play some of the festivals. But after I won that competition, that was when I really got such strong mentorship from just amazing mentors like Chuck Alkazian, Nadir Mawale, Nancy Ferris, who I really love and adore. I love and adore all of them. Just such amazing mentorship and guidance about how, if I really wanted to pursue it, here were kind of the tools that I would need. And that's when I produced my first EP, or, worked on my first EP, and finally had a product that I could give to festivals and booking agents and say, this is my portfolio, basically. And that was huge to have that composition of originals and that one cover, the Stevie Nicks cover, which is honestly my most streamed song on Spotify even now. And
it's a great version of Edge of 17. If you haven't heard it, check it out.
Thank you. And I love the song. And so that was definitely a huge turning point, because then from there I had music to put out, and then kind of built upon that foundation, like going forward. So
it's like a resume. You built your resume with that.
Yes.
That's pretty awesome. And I think you met Jill Jack around that same time too. Mm-hmm. If I remember correctly, the year after you won that, you opened for her at the Ark, or was somewhere right around there. You opened for her at the Ark.
Well, I remember I met Jill there was a thing called the Michigan Mega Jam that they did for a good chunk of years, where they took a bunch of Michigan artists and we played on Labor Day all together, and Jill was there. And I had actually been to Jill's shows as a young kid because my parents had been following Jill when they moved to Chicago for some time and moved back to Michigan, and started seeing her around town, and actually were like big fans and supporters of her. And so when I got to meet her in person, it was like, I was like, oh my gosh, Jill, I've seen you play at the zoo and the library pub and like all these places. And she's been such an incredible mentor to me. Even most recently, actually, she's just someone I really look up to and admire. So yeah.
If she's watching, Jill, I called you today. We almost spoke. She called me back when I couldn't answer. So I haven't talked to her in a while.
So wonderful. So
she's a good human for sure.
Yes.
So you also are, beyond being a fantastic musician and songwriter, you're also a really super intelligent human being who happens to love science. And does that ever make it into your lyrics? Like it doesn't seem like that's easy to write about, but I know a few sciencey songs.
Not particularly, but I will say though, what I've kind of focused on studying is neurobiology, but like mostly neuropsychology. So a lot of, and now I'm taking a lot more social work classes. So I would say that is directly applicable to music. A lot of the classes that I've been taking are centered around behavior and also social justice. And I think that is so relevant to music. So I will say, no, I'm not writing songs about, like I have a midterm on Tuesday in a class called The Developing Brain. Yeah. I will not be writing about any of those topics.
Okay.
But I just think the overall study of humans and how we behave and the systems we exist within, studying that in the university setting, I think has just enhanced my overall depth of writing, I think, in general.
Very good. Well, we're going to talk more about school a little bit later, but I'd like to hear another song. What would you like to do next?
Well, this is actually I wanted to play some new stuff.
Yeah, please.
This is a song that I wrote actually with my brother. It was the first one that we had maybe the second one we had kind of written together. And I wrote this one in August. This is my most recent. This is Exhale Peace. Do you really want to do that, woven deep inside. All the signs red as blood, though I pass them as I go. Would you really go through that? Would you take the dive? I've arrived between two roads. I stumble as I go. Headlights shine into the fog. The lines will lead when I am lost. Empty passenger side beside me. Knuckles white but smile as my heart beats. Melted colors grace the clouds. My intuition roaring loud. Run into the chaos around me. And finally I exhale peace. Would you really want to do that? Asked over again and rebuild what felt like home. Convicted I go. High post, not holding back anything. Water and eyes are glistening. High stakes, they stare right back at me. Trade my security. Headlights shine into the fog. The lines will lead when I am lost. Empty passenger side beside me. Knuckles white but smile as my heart beats. Melted colors grace the clouds. My intuition roaring loud. Run into the chaos around me. And finally I exhale peace. High pulse, not holding back anything. Water in eyes are glistening. High stakes, they stare right back at me. Trade my security for where I wanna be. And finally I exhale peace.
There's some songwriters in town that probably wish they had written that song first. That's so good. Exhale Peace.
So much.
Alison Albrecht, the new music from the forthcoming EP. I'm throwing that out there. I have no idea. Are you doing a forthcoming EP? Are you getting in the studio soon?
Well, I actually do have a single release announcement actually for today. Not that song, but the song that I'll actually be playing next. We're releasing on March 12th. So just 3 short weeks. So
cool.
Yeah, we actually have a studio out of my house, and I've been recording with my brother. So it's been great to kind of have that, to be able to, whenever we kind of have a creative idea or just want to get something down, we have that space. So
Chuck is out of the mix now? Sorry, Chuck.
No, Chuck is Chuck is wonderful, and he does what we can never do. Like, truly, he's such a creative genius. The pro of doing it from home is with COVID. It's a lot harder to get into the studio, and it also is just kind of a great outlet for me and my brother to do together. So that's the pro of that. Hopefully I'll be able to go into another studio at some point, but for now it's been great to be able to do it from home. So your
brother's on your quarantine anyway, right? So
he is. Yes,
you're allowed to see him.
Yes,
unmasked.
We've been together. Yes, absolutely, for sure.
How long has he been playing music?
He actually he took bass lessons when he was a kid and has always kind of been musically inclined, but he took up production about maybe 3 years ago, and just kind of acquired all the gear for Christmas and birthdays. And I mean, he is just one of the most talented people that I know. He could spend all day just in his room tweaking songs. He's trained his ears to hear frequencies I could never hear. It's like he truly, he's a lot more technical than I am. And we both have, obviously we're siblings, but both my parents are engineers, and he definitely, I think, has the engineer
Got their brain.
Yeah. And yeah, he just brings to the table so much that has just been such an asset to working together. So yeah.
I don't know your brother's name. Older brother?
His name's Andrew. He's younger. So I turned 21 in 3 weeks. He turns 18 in 3 weeks.
Oh my
so
goodness.
We're 3 years apart.
Wow. Well, Andrew, thanks for keeping an eye on Alison and keeping her on the track of making music at home. So when I think about one of my favorite moments since I've known you, it was when you posted the video of you watching yourself or listening to yourself on the radio, and you posted the video, reposted it, I think, when it was kind of on its anniversary. And it made me realize that what I was doing was having an impact. And you probably didn't intend for that to happen. You were just sharing a moment in your life that was important to you, but it was really important to me to know that I was doing that for somebody else. It's still one of my favorite moments.
Gosh, it was so meaningful in my life. Just, I remember we knew what time it was going to go on the radio, and we had all of my family, like my mom, dad, and brother, we all got in the car, and we I grew up in Novi, but now we live out of the 107.1 radius, so we had to drive to get in radius. Yeah. So we all got in the car, and we blasted the song, and I just remember my jaw dropped. I was like, oh my God. And I think I was 15 or 16, and just what a meaningful moment in my life and career. It was so cool. So
I think you said that was a song you'd written on the floor of your bedroom. And
that's the only song that I play that I wrote I think I wrote that song in the 8th grade.
Oh, jeez.
And I still play it. It's my song, Not Alone. Cool. And I wrote it on the floor of my room in middle school, but it's still one of my favorite originals, to this day.
What's been one of your biggest deals besides that, playing on stage? What's been a big moment?
Oh my, there's so many.
Opening slot, a headlining slot.
Well, opening for Jill was huge. I also I think national anthem for the Tigers was big. I also, when I was younger, I opened for Steve Miller. That was insane. Yeah. But I think some of my favorite shows most recently have been at 20 Front in Lake Orion, just because those shows, you really get to connect with the audience and tell stories, and they really want to hear the stories behind the lyrics, and just everyone, especially I love, one of my favorite parts about performing, what I miss so much, is talking with everyone after. I love to meet everyone or as many people after, because I love getting to talk with everyone. So at 20 Front, they so foster that, and everyone is so kind. I mean, everywhere, everyone is so kind, but especially at 20 Front, it's just a great community over there.
Those listening room environments really are conducive for conversation afterwards.
Absolutely.
And this is the reason why you make a CD, because you have something to sell them that they can sign. I tell this to a lot of the young musicians. It's important to have something to remember you by. If they're coming to see you as an opening act, for instance, they're not going to remember who you are unless they have something to take home. If they're impressed, they might want to have something. Well, I got to remember to look her up when I get home. And then, of course, they don't, right?
For sure.
There is something to be said about physical product, even in 2021. I know we're not doing any shows, but it still could be an impactful thing for a musician. So I hope that continues for you. Maybe you actually put your next thing out as a physical. Maybe you don't. I guess it depends on when it comes out. Maybe you wait till you can actually play the songs in front of people instead of online.
For sure.
No sense in putting a CD out when nobody's at a show, but I get it. Full-time college student, how are you making music? How were you finding time to do that?
That's such a great question. Well, I think that's been one of my goals, has just been, for me, it's just as important as everything else. My ultimate goal is to try to combine music, and I'm really passionate about mental health advocacy, and I'm considering trying to pursue, I know I'm not 100% sure, so please don't quote me on this, but I'm trying to pursue social work. So trying to think about how to incorporate music and social change. So for me, music is just as integral as everything else that I'm studying and doing. So what I've been doing has been these live streams on Sunday, which have been great. I did them 6 weeks in a row. I took a couple weeks off, but
You're allowed.
but
You're not getting paid. You may as well.
but they've been so great because I found myself throughout the week trying to learn new covers and take into feedback of what other people are wanting me to perform. And, it's inspired me to write some more. So just kind of having that space, I just do it for an hour on Sundays, but it honestly has really set up my week in a way where like it's revolved around just kind of growing and improving. Cause that's what I miss a lot about doing shows, especially at like, I don't know, more of like a restaurant setting or settings where it's a little bit more laid back. You can try out so much new material. So That's kind of what I like to do at those shows.
I'm glad you're doing them.
Yeah, thanks.
During classes where you're focusing on your studies, do you ever have a great line that pops into your head and you have to stop and go, I better write that down before I forget it?
Well, that actually used to happen to me in high school a little bit. Now it's, now everything's from home. So I feel like.
But you've been in school when it wasn't from home.
That's true. That is true. I'm a big journaler. That's like one of my greatest outlets. So I think for me, even if it's not like a poetic line, sometimes you just have something that you just can't get out of your brain. And you're in a meeting or you're in class or something. And so for me, even if it doesn't come out as poetry, sometimes like I have my journal on me at 24/7 and you have to write down ideas. So absolutely ideas.
It's good. Keeps the music flowing.
Yeah, for sure.
So when we spoke about a year ago, you told me you were a neuroscience and psychology major and a performing arts management and entrepreneur minor.
Yes.
Has that changed or is that still the same path?
That's good.
I took notes.
I actually added a minor, which is
because you're not busy enough.
Community action and social change.
Oh my goodness.
But my major, it's neuroscience and psychology combined. So it's technically biopsychology, cognition, and neuroscience. Yeah.
You're too much sometimes, you know that? Is there anybody in your music-oriented classes that I should be keeping an ear out for that you've been introduced to from class?
Well, I just started there's so many like U of M performers that I'm just starting to get acquainted with. So I definitely, next time I talk to you, will have more recommendations. Right now I know Ethan Matt. There's a lot of people up there. I also knew a lot of the musical theater people. So now I'm kind of more in indie music classes. So check back with me in a couple months for sure.
You and I have similar tastes. That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
Like, you got to check out. So if you come across an artist that's one of your peers,
gosh, I absolutely will.
Make sure you turn me on to them.
Yeah.
If you decide to, we discussed this before too, but so you're on a path to obviously get a degree in something kind of major that isn't your love of music. So you have something to fall back on if the music thing doesn't work out, or is it your primary goal to become a psychologist? I don't know. Is that?
Well, no, now I think at the start of college, I was doing music on the side, but I wasn't taking any music classes. And I'm actually like, that was really hard, but I'm glad I did it because it made me realize that like giving up music wasn't an option.
It's here, right?
Yeah. I just think I have to have a creative career. Like I've just decided that that's like what has to happen. So instead of trying to give up one or the other, I'm now trying to combine the two basically. And like I mentioned, trying to use music as a way to give others self-agency and a way to express themselves. So I'd like to continue being an artist myself and do that full time after I graduate, quite honestly, and really pursue music. But I also think I feel so driven to use some of these other things that I love, like working with people, community organizing work. I've done some nonprofit work, over the past couple of years. And so I would love to try to combine music and advocacy work. So
I hope you can.
Yeah.
So tell me more about this new single that's coming out March 12th, you said?
Yes, March 12th. So it's actually the day after my birthday. Sorry, I'm talking about my birthday so much.
It's okay. It's a big deal.
I know it's so annoying.
No, it's a big deal. 21 this year. That's a big deal. I'll take you out for a drink if I could. But.
Yeah, right. But this song I wrote, this was like, I think the first song I wrote with my brother, which is really cute. This was the first song actually, where he wrote the instrumental first. And he was like, hey, I made this. Would you write to it? And I was like, we'd never done that because in the past I had just we'd taken the songs that I'd already written, and then we kind of, put them to production. But I thought his instrumental rocked, and we were able to write to it. So this is a song. It's called "I Say," and we can talk about it a little bit after too. But it's just about finding confidence and just kind of coming into your own, which I feel like has been one of my goals of the last year or two. So yeah.
Well, believe it or not, I need help with that too, even at my age.
It's tough, but I think writing about it honestly has helped me remember it, right? Because on the days when it's hard, it's like, oh yeah, but you've got this, like, it's a great reminder. It's like, it's a reminder of not to get yourself down, and not be your, like, just remember how much you're worth, right? Because it's so easy, I think, especially when times are tough. This has been a really, really tough year.
Really?
God.
Sorry, sarcasm.
No, I know. It's been extremely difficult, and there's so many trying times.
If I could only share, but I can't.
But just to remember that, like, you have the tools to, it sounds so cheesy, but, like, basically you are equipped with the tools to, like, make the change you want to see. And that's kind of what the song's about. So yeah.
There we go.
White noise and whispers around, they follow everywhere I go. Echoes off of buildings in town and sticks like a shadow. Opinions, questions, concerns from the crowd in the gallery. This is the right call, but easy wasn't guaranteed. The sun shines through the pouring rain. Wouldn't have it any other way. Mascara runs right down my face. Wouldn't change the ending. I enter chaos confidently. Myself to blame. The sun shines through the pouring rain. This time I say, silence the voices, chin up, look into the mirror. Lock eyes with the face, and finally the fog begins to clear. Biting my nails down, but alone, nowhere to hide. I breathe the same air with a fresh new pair of eyes. The sun shines through the pouring rain. Wouldn't have it any other way. Mascara runs right down my face. Wouldn't change the ending. I enter chaos confidently. Oh, myself to blame. The sun shines through the pouring rain. This time I say, oh, this time I say, wouldn't have it any other way. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
There it is, the new single from Alison Albrecht. "I Say" is the name of it?
Yeah, I Say.
Good stuff. I like it a lot.
Thank you.
So you've been collaborating with your brother. That's the first one. How many have you written together?
We've got, I would say probably 3 that we've written that are, like, fleshed out ideas, and then a bunch of scraps after that.
Is your responsibility mostly lyric, or do you contribute music as well?
I contribute both. He hasn't contributed lyrics yet, but
He's not the sensitive guy?
we'll see. Well, I would say he absolutely is, but he's just never dabbled in songwriting before. So I think just as we continue to maybe collaborate and work together, that's something we can tap into. So yeah.
It seems that since the last time you put out an EP, there have been more than 3 or 5 songs. You might have enough for a full album from whatever. I mean, you performed, I think, 3 new ones on I saw a year ago, and those still aren't out. One of them I want to bring up because it's It's in my head a lot. I love it. Hurricane is such a
Yes.
great song.
I think I was considering playing that one.
You should actually.
I'm
'cause
planning on it.
You're
Yeah.
probably going to make me cry if you do, but
Yes.
I just love that one. And
Well, yeah, thank you so much.
does singing your feelings ever become hard? Because, I mean, sometimes you're going to have to do this in front of people, and these are probably, maybe I'm wrong, but that sounds like it's based on something you went through, that one.
Well, I think that's my favorite part is I think through vulnerability is how relationships are made and how music, I feel like, really reaches people. I think without vulnerability in songwriting, I think vulnerability is what makes songs have such an impact. And that's like my favorite part about it is connecting with others and seeing how music moves in other people. So I've been writing about my life and topics for, since I started writing. And I think when I started, I tried to write about things that, I didn't know as much about or maybe weren't as personal, and it just doesn't like work for me. And I find it isn't hard because I love to share. I don't know why. That's just like that's just kind of who I am as a person. I love to share because I love connecting with others so much and seeing kind of the ways that it impacts their own lives.
Well, what it essentially amounts to is public journaling. I mean, that's what you're doing. You're getting your feelings out about whatever difficult situation you've been through, and then you're singing it to us. And like some of us, like me, might sit and go, "Who is this person she's singing about?" And boy, how did they let go of this fantastic human being? Or I don't know who let go of who, but like you start to like personalize it a little bit, and then you think, "I've been through that too." That's what happens with that song for me. It's like I've been through that.
Well, and that's what I think we mentioned that before. That's what I love about songs is everyone has their own story and journey that they're on, and songs mean different things to different people. There was a song that I had written. I think I performed it last time. It's called After the End, and I wrote it about my first real breakup. And someone came up to me after 20 Front Street and told her that for her it meant grief, and she had just lost a family member, and it like really impacted her. So that was one of the first moments I realized, like, oh wow, people really these songs, even if our experiences aren't quite the same, like these emotions are universal, and people really have can share those experiences.
I've been figuring that out in the last year or so. I mean, I've always been a music fan, and I'm more drawn now as an older adult, to the story behind the song and the lyric behind the song than I was as a kid. Like I would sing along to stuff I had no idea what I was singing along to. And then I become a little bit older, like I'm sure you know the song My Sharona by the Knack, right? You've heard it in your lifetime. Yeah. My mom used to love that song, and if she ever listened to the lyrics, she would not, because that song is not a song that moms should like in front of their kids. But I was never paying attention to lyrics then. I was just singing along. And now as an adult, I pay way more attention to what's being sung about. And I'm way more emotional about it for whatever reason. Maybe the pandemic has just brought out this, like, I'm so detached from everybody. I need to feel something, and I'm feeling everything now. There's certain songs I hear on the radio that are hits, and I go, oh, I want to cry. Like, when did that happen? I'm past 50, and now I'm crying at songs on the radio.
Well, I just think that that's the power of music is even in this time where we are so physically disconnected, there's things like music that really bring people together.
Okay, now make me cry. Sing Hurricane. Do it, Hurricane.
Oh gosh. All right,
Love
this is
song.
Hurricane.
Alison Albrecht's my guest this week on Acoustic Alternatives.
Time does not move slow just because I can't let go. It keeps on moving even through the sleepless nights. I push the pain off to the side. What's really keeping me alive is masking mixed emotions as I hide. Oh, but it's a treacherous climb. I know that healing comes with time. I take 2 steps forward, then go 10 steps back, glue broken pieces back together, but my heart wants to crack. I believe all the rain is gone and my clothes have all dry, but my life is still a hurricane, and I'm stuck in the eye. And it's hard to comprehend uncertainty that lies ahead, though I'm afraid of the future. It'll be alright. There's no set of rules or guides to moving on once the tears have dried, but the heart's not yet prepared, so hang on tight. I'm still battling the treacherous climb, and I just wonder how much more time. I take 2 steps forward, then go 10 steps back, glue broken pieces back together, but my heart wants to crack. I believe all the rain is gone and my clothes have all dried, but my life is still a hurricane, and I'm stuck in the eye. But the rain won't fall forevermore, though it feels like drowning in the heat of the storm. And the wind will try to blow me away, and I feel so weak today. I take 2 steps forward, then go 10 steps back, glue broken pieces back together, but my heart is still cracked. I believe all the rain is gone and my clothes have all dried, but my life is still a hurricane, and I'm stuck in the eye.
Available on the forthcoming album, Alison Albrecht's Greatest Hits, Best Of. That's a great song.
Thank
I
you
love that
so
one.
much.
That's probably my favorite of your originals, quite honestly.
Thank you.
It's just so gut-wrenchingly beautiful and well stated. And I'm admiring your songwriting. And that's
Thank
what I'm
you.
trying to tell you. All right.
It's one of my favorites to perform, for sure. Might be my favorite to perform.
Okay, we're in agreement. Good. We get along. There's been a bit of space between your first EP and your last release.
Yeah.
What do you think from your first writings will survive your set lists for years to come? I have an idea of my one that would probably...
That's a great question. I think Not Alone, which was on my first EP.
Yep.
Like I said, I wrote that so many years ago, but still resonates with me, and I think so many still. Not Alone for sure. I also love Start Again and Jealous Thing. Those two, which were off my Start Again EP. I really love those.
You got to think about Midnight, because Midnight holds up really well as well.
Yes, true.
It really does.
Yes,
That's a
Midnight.
song you might want to revisit, like when you're, I don't know, if you're continuing your music career like you plan to, maybe eventually you get signed to some sort of independent label and they want you to come up with a full album's worth of songs, and you're like, oh, I don't really feel like doing. You might consider redoing that one just as to modernize it. Nothing wrong with the way it was, but
my aunt, it's her alarm. She might be watching this right now. She says Midnight is her alarm.
It's a
She
great
wakes
song.
up to it every morning.
For a young songwriter, that is a really impressive
Thank
song.
you.
So I just
I love that one too.
keep that one. That's what I'm saying about that.
That one's fun to perform also.
Yeah, but that's a band song though, isn't it? More than a solo song. It's. I mean,
Yeah.
you've done it solo for me, but it seems like that one survives better.
Most fun with a band for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So you've, not to make you feel bad, but last time we got together, you said that you'd share some demos with me so I could hear what was going on, and you didn't.
No, I didn't.
But that's okay. I mean, you don't. If you don't need my opinion, it's here if you want it. But I would love to be part of your process?
The situation was at that time I didn't have a studio, or really what I was doing was I was just recording voice memos in my phone, and then I feel like the world kind of got a little crazy. But
it did get a little crazy,
and then that kind of my whole creative process shifted, having this sort of access to. I mean, I'm not really like. I'm no expert at all. I will leave that to actual engineers and producers, but like I know my way around Logic a little bit now. So
well, you probably have an idea what you want it to sound like too.
Yes, for sure. And just being able to like have a DAW to be able to put in ideas has been really nice. So now that I have that capability, I'll share my latest stuff.
I wouldn't mind being a sounding board for you
sure.
if you need one. I'm not pressuring you. I'm just saying
No, absolutely.
It gives me something to look forward to.
Yes, for sure.
To hear new things.
Yeah, I've got some new stuff in the works for sure.
Sounds good. Every musician has a list of influences. Quite honestly, I don't know how many of people like to have those influences come through their music. How do you feel about letting yours show? Because I can kind of hear them, but then again, I don't think I can pigeonhole you to say that you sound like X or Y.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I just am always listening to music and admire so many other artists. So I really hope that the influences come through, but that I also have my own kind of unique sound and spin. That's kind of how I don't know what you're doing next as far as like you're going to continue doing singles throughout the year, I assume, while you're busily doing school. Are you planning any sort of like full length or EP, or is this just kind of like, let's see what happens as I have time to do them? Well, that's the ultimate goal is an album or EP, but I also just haven't been releasing songs.
Because you're in school.
And just like you mean school, and just I haven't been putting out as much material. So the goal is, I think the reason that I'm going for singles is just to get as much new material out there as possible, and then hopefully once we have a little bit of once we take a little bit of a pause and we're like, okay, we're not going to release all these at once, then we'll do an EP. But that's my goal, is to have some more singles coming out soon, and hopefully an EP as well. So that'd be great.
Will you continue your Sunday tradition, or is that sort of as I have time to do it?
No, I want to continue Sundays for sure. I will be back, not this Sunday, but the Sunday after.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll continue doing it Sundays since. So definitely go to my Facebook page, which is Alison Albrecht Music. On Facebook, my name on Facebook is Alison Albrecht, but if you do it's at Alison Albrecht Music. And that's when I always post the Facebook events, and you'll know when that's going to come back. So.
And you have a website as well, which I'm quoted on, which is very nice. Yes. And there's, I think, portion of a session we did together on there.
Yes.
Is that Alison Albrecht Music as well?
No, that's just AlisonAlbrecht.com. Very
nice. You got the lucky, you didn't have to compete with somebody else for the website.
Nope, I got it. And my friend Maddie, who is such a talented graphic designer, please check her out. Her name's Madeline Wiggins. She actually just redid my website.
Yeah.
She did such a phenomenal job. So
it looks really nice.
Definitely check that out.
I was checking it out. It looks really good. Thanks, Maddie. Thanks for helping out my friend Alison.
Maddie rocks. She's so cool.
Do you feel like doing one more? You don't have to.
No, absolutely. And I was going to do a cover, if that's okay with you.
That's where the influences shine on.
Yes. Well, I wanted to talk about my influence. Just kind of mentioned, I wanted to do a Maggie Rogers tune because you mentioned.
Because I love her.
Doing her. And I love her too. Maggie's a huge influence of mine. And then kind of thinking about, my influences and my own. I think Maggie's so great because her songwriting really shines through, but also her songs are so like upbeat and lively, which is great. And I love kind of the style of keeping songwriting roots of, Joni Mitchell, Carole King, and kind of putting a modern twist on that.
Yeah, for sure.
I listen to Stevie Nicks, Fleetwood Mac, Carole King, I listened to that while I,
Tapestry just turned 50 this week or last week.
I know. And yeah, so that's kind of the core, I feel like, of my music are those beautiful songs. And like modern influences is Maggie for sure, Lord, got a lot of good ones. So I wanted to play a Maggie.
All right, cool. Alison Albrecht.
While we're on the topic of influences.
I was walking through icy streams that took my breath away, moving slowly through westward water over glacial plains, and I walked off you, and I walked off an old me. Oh me, oh my, I thought it was a dream, so it seemed. And now breathe deep, how inhaling. You and I, there's air in between. Leave me be, how exhaling. You and I, there's air in between. So I could rock back and forth without thinking of you. Learn to talk and say whatever I wanted to. And I walked off you, and I walked off an old me. Oh me, oh my, I thought it was a dream, so it seemed. And now breathe deep, oh inhaling. You and I, there's air in between. Leave me be, how exhaling. You and I, there's air in between.
Thank you for doing that.
Yes, that was Alaska.
Alison Albrecht on Acoustic Alternatives. What a fantastic performance today. Great to see you in person. Great to have this chance to chat with you face to face, although our faces are blocked by masks and plexiglass. And just, I'm proud to be a supporter of yours because I really believe in you, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
Thank you so much for having me, and just, again, for all your support.
You got it. For years to come. Decades, I'm sure. Great to see you. I don't know who's next on Acoustic Alternatives. A couple of weeks from now, I'll have somebody else in the studios, but it's been a pleasure to be with you again. Keep checking out what Grove Studios is doing, because I'm not the only one doing podcasts that are music related from this studio. So follow their Facebook page, follow their YouTube channel, and you'll see what else is happening here at Grove Studios. And thanks to them for allowing me to do this here. Have a great day.